I'm the founder of Livbay Lash. I started lashing in 2012. My husband and I grew it all the way up to an 8-figure company, multiple entities. I stepped back, not by choice, but I was not even a part of anything. I was not physically there. I had no say-so. I was unplugged from social media. I had access to nothing. And as hard as that was and as painful as that was, there was so much purpose in that pain, because the perspective that I have on the lash industry now is unreal. What's up, guys? My name is Shauna, and this is the Olivor Lash Podcast. This podcast is dedicated to beauty professionals, lash artists, salon business owners, entrepreneurs, honestly, at this point, anyone with a heartbeat. This podcast is going to be based around our testimony, business, leadership, rock bottom, and comebacks. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been following us, welcome back. And if you're like, wait a second, I've been following you and I'm so confused right now, you can head over to Instagram and follow me at Sassy Babes and go down the rabbit hole of what our life has been like. I am here to unpack everything. Probably not on this first episode, but first and foremost, I do want to say thank you so much to everyone who has shown myself and my family love and support. The outpouring has been just insane, and I am so grateful for that. And honestly, I didn't expect as much love as we've gotten, but I just want to say thank you so much. I understand, this is something, it's a big deal, it's some hot tea. And we have remained silent about this for such a long time. And, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I was battling it out with God. He was like, talk about this, talk. I'm like, no. Like, if you think about that one thing in life where you're like, this is going to my grave, I'm never going to talk about this. Like, no way. This is that. And so, I tried to get advice, or I did get advice, from our therapists and pastors, friends, family, weighed the pros and the cons. And, obviously we have children, like lots of risks here. But at the end of the day, God trumps everything. And I am going to, as I've been, obey him and literally just give it all to him. And in doing that, the return on sharing this testimony, the good, the bad, the disgustingly ugly, I am blown away. I'm blown away by so many people who have either gone through this or are currently going through this, or have just gone through like a season, and I would say 99% is positive. And of course, if you share anything on social media, especially to this magnitude, there's going to be negativity, and that's okay. I managed my own expectations with that. And so welcome. My co-host is not here, so Lucy is filling in. This is just going to be the true, real, raw version of what things have been like, what things are like. Out of respect for my husband, I am going to allow him to speak on a lot of the situation. I feel comfortable speaking about it, obviously, but he wants to speak about it. He'll be home soon. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody. I just can't thank you guys enough. So we're going to unpack a lot, and I can't do it on one episode, but I'm super grateful to be here today. I just want to talk about mindset. I was talking to my husband, and I was like, I don't want to do the podcast. I don't. And in fact, this is very hard for me, and I'm very uncomfortable, if I'm being honest, as I've been the past 2.5 years. Mike and I were absolutely inseparable. I don't think we even missed a night with each other in 12 years or something, right? And so the way my husband and I worked, if you didn't catch on and you know us, is, I feel like he's like my binky, right? was like the hammer and he was like the bear, the big, just like squishy bear that just everyone absolutely loved and adored, and he could strike a conversation with anyone. And I felt so much more complete and better with him. And God works in mysterious ways, because the past 2.5 years I have been solo. And so I have definitely come out of my shell, and I truly feel like, this is who God has called me to be. And I was on the phone with my husband and he's like, drop the podcast, Shauna, like, please. And so we were prophesied over with Michael Maiden, Dustin Bates, and on my husband's furlough that he was given for 16 hours, we listened to those prophecies, and there were some things that they spoke over me. And he said, remember the prophecy. He's like, your words carry weight. He's like, I love you and I trust you, and I know that what you carry and what you have to say matters. And so I just want to thank my husband, our decreased communication, just super thankful for his encouragement. And that's why I'm here today, because I had every excuse not to be here. My roots, the weather, my coffee doesn't have ice in it, just anything, but I'm here. And sometimes in life you have to show up, whether you feel broken, paralyzed, sad, depressed, full of anxiety. It's all about showing up. And I have learned that the past 2.5 years, because that is pretty much what I do every day. And so I do feel it's important that we talk about mindset, because through our journey, if I didn't change my mindset, I don't know how I would even be standing. And so I just want to encourage you guys. I have stepped back from the industry this past year. And although at first when it happened, I thought it was the most traumatic thing ever, I just lost myself. What I didn't realize is it was such a blessing in disguise, because I was able to step back from my daily grind. Because if you don't know, if you're new here, I'm the founder of Livbay Lash. I started lashing in 2012. My husband and I grew it all the way up to, an 8-figure company, multiple entities. We had classes, we had salon supplies, an amazing ambassador group. I mean, just and. It was just a beautiful thing. And I was always in the thick of it, because I'm a control freak at heart. And so being in that daily grind and my hands in everything and not delegating, which I have learned so much about, I would have never had the perspective that I have and the education that I have now that I stepped back this past year. I stepped back not by choice, but I was not even a part of anything. I was not physically there. I had no say-so. I was unplugged from social media. I had access to nothing. And as hard as that was, and as painful as that was, there was so much purpose in that pain, because the perspective that I have on the lash industry now is unreal. And the love that I have for this lash industry now would have never happened had I not been pulled out. Because it's one thing to be deep in whatever it is, lashing, whatever it may be, whatever industry you're in, or maybe the situation you're in, or wherever your mind is in. It's one thing to be just so deep in that, but when you're pulled out, you have a totally different perspective. And I was not about to have me physically not being there impact where God called me to be. So I researched, I educated myself, I saw the lash industry, I saw the trends, I saw the negativity, I saw the positivity, I saw the companies, I saw the lash artists. I invested so much time into UV, and I also invested so much time in listening to podcasts and leadership and entrepreneur, and just I just marinated myself and educated myself. And although I was pulled away, I felt so involved. And so, I'm here to tell you, especially since I'm starting over, that I feel you. I'm very aware of the industry and where it is right now. I am very aware of the economy. I am very aware of the complaints that are going on in the industry. I read it, I watch it, I feel it. I'm going through it with you because technically I am starting over. Olivor Lash is a new company. I do not run Livbay. I will say that I am the trademark holder. I have 10 trademarks with Livbay and Livbay Lash, and they are not licensed to anyone. But I am not running that company. I am the owner of Olivor Lash, and Olivor Lash salons and supplies. So I'm the owner of that. I'm the owner. And so I see where everyone is coming from. And I think my perspective, and this is what this is about today, is perspective and mindset when it comes to whatever industry you're in. I'm talking about the lash industry, but I stand firm on what I spoke about before. This was well over a year ago, is the lash industry is not dying. It's just not. I still think that is a mindset of some people. It's starting to swirl again. I don't believe in it. I see where it is right now, but it's not dying. I think if anything, the industry is evolving, and it really has. There's new trends, there's new companies, there's new lash artists. There's a lot of lash artists, there's a lot of lash companies. People like to say it's oversaturated. I don't believe that. I don't. I just think the way to look at it is how many people we have in this world, the billions and billions of people, right? How many eyeballs is that if you're a lash artist? And not everyone is happy with their lash artist, right? Not every client is happy with their lash supplier. And so I think if we are changing our perspective and our mindset, and we are also detaching ourselves from the negativity. It's one thing to change your mindset, right? And you can gain control of your mind and you can change things and make them positive. But also, we also have to be very, very aware of who we are associating ourselves with. So if your mindset is now changed and it's positive and you are feeling yourself and you are switching gears from your old negative mindset, but you're associating yourselves with soul suckers, it's almost like dealing with someone who has a drug addiction. When you have a drug addiction, one of the things that you're supposed to do is like get rid of everybody that you associated yourself with while you were doing drugs. It's kind of like that with your mindset. Like, it's just, you need to change who you're associating, listening to, looking up to, because now that it's starting to swirl that the industry is dead, so many people are kind of clinging on to that, and they're like, yeah, this is slow, and yeah, this and that. And yeah, that could be the case. I see it. I see that a lot of people, businesses, artists, different industries are kind of in survival mode. And I understand that, and I feel you. I mean, I'm starting over. I totally understand it. But I feel like there's things that you can do to separate yourselves from the rest, because the industry is not dying, it's evolving. And so what do you need to do when your industry is changing or you're evolving? You need to change with the times. And so I'm just gonna give you 3 practical tips that you can do. And honestly, they don't even cost money, okay? And so this is something that has always been dear to my heart. I am huge on experience. I am an empath. And so I love to make people feel good, and I feel people's feelings, and I carry a lot of their weight. And if you're an empath, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But my husband and I have always been huge on experience, whether someone's working for us, whether someone's getting serviced, or they get a package, or even an interaction, right? Because at the end of the day, we can ship a million tweezers and lashes and glue out, and people can love the product, but how are people feeling, right? So you can offer discounts. I see so many people offering discounts, and if I'm being honest, we offered a promo for $60 fills and $100 sets for Olivor Lash. Now, this was very cheap, right? And we weren't making any money with that promo. But the residual income from those clients rebooking and coming back, you can't just run a deal and then do a drop off. It doesn't work like that. You need to nurture that deal. So if you're offering a promo and a discount on lashes, you need to nurture that client, because you're not really going to make a lot of money depending on the promo with that offer. But the residual income you're going to get and the lifelong client you're going to get from that, that's residual income. So what are you doing for that client when they come in? How are you separating yourself from Sally down the street? My thing is experience. Let me tell you, I have been at Tivoli Village at that salon trying to make everyone's experience top notch. because I know I'm not making any money with that first time discount. I know I'm not. But I'm going to nurture that client. I am going to make sure it smells good. I'm going to make sure that they have that weighted blanket on. I'm going to make sure my lash artist is prepped and they have great conversation or a silent appointment. I'm going to make sure that they get that aftercare kit, and I'm going to make sure they have that, sticker on it that has the Bible verse, and I'm going to make everything smell good. And I just know what I'm going to do to nurture that client to ensure that they're coming back to us. And that's how you separate yourself from the rest. That doesn't cost anything. Yeah, a discount is where you're really not making that much money, but that's okay. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as a lash artist or an owner, you're gonna have that client come back, for sure. Number 2 is, what about your existing clients? Okay, it's great to get the new clients in, but what are you doing for your existing clients? Right? Because you have some OG clients that have been coming to you and maybe even referring people. What are you doing for them? Because we want to make sure that we're nurturing them as well. Because they've been clients, they are your residual income. What are you doing? You want to maybe hook them up with a discount. Hey, Jennifer, I appreciate your business. Girl, you've been with me for like 2 years. I want to give you $20 off your fill today, or I want to give you a free fill. The thing is you don't even have to spend money on it, right? It's just that one-time discount or one-time goodie bag or whatever. It's that appreciation that you're giving, because at the end of the day, your existing clients, they want to know that you're thinking of them and you appreciate them and all the business that they've given you throughout the years or months or what have you. So nurturing your existing clients as well. Trust me, a small gesture goes a long way, and you're protecting your investment. Those are your clients. That's what pays your bills. That's what puts food on the table. So that $20 off their fill that one day, that can ensure that they're not going anywhere. Number 3 is my favorite, because guess what? I'm still doing it. Number 3, when I first started, we had no money, super broke, couldn't even afford a $10 a day Yelp budget. What did I do? I spent time on social media and I followed people who I thought were gonna get lashes. So the cocktail waitresses, the bartenders, I would go on, different day clubs, and I would follow, cocktail waitresses or whoever I thought would get lashes at that time. I would follow them. I would like all their photos. Honestly, if you even did 10 a night, right, while you're doom scrolling at nighttime, you will be so surprised how many new followers you get. And maybe you didn't get them to book with you right that second. They are going to be following you now. So they're gonna see your work. They could strike up a conversation. They may be interested in a promo. You can even DM them and offer them $15 off, their fill or full set or whatever. But it costs $0 to do this. And I swear, even if you do 10 a night, your Instagram isn't getting flagged. You'll be very surprised how many followers, maybe even DMs and booked appointments you can get from that. Honestly, it's so many different industries that are changing. And so truthfully, with all my heart, I don't think it's dying. There's always going to be people who are going to want eyelash extensions. I don't believe eyelash extensions are going anywhere. I just think we need to evolve with the times. This is where we step up our game, right? Even if you have to get a second job. I've read where people are like, I have to get a second job. That's amazing. You do whatever you have to do to pay the bills. And honestly, I've also watched lash artists that we've even trained and they've had to close their doors. And my heart goes out to that. We don't know people's financial situations or their life situations. And so I just want to encourage you guys that I truthfully do not think that the industry is dying. I just think we all need to step it up. This is where you either make it or you don't. And I hate to say it like that, but I think we all have the capability. I think we all have the ability to make this work. I think we have to go back to basics sometimes with just everything. And, you are in this industry for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're listening to this for a reason. And I just want to encourage you guys that, growing is uncomfortable. Bad seasons are uncomfortable, but there's always a purpose for pain and for those uncomfortable growing pains. And believe it or not, you're probably right where you need to be. And so it's up to you to change your mindset and to really stay positive through this. And, I'm here for you guys. Anything you guys need, honestly, this is This is why we do what we do. And you know that Mike and I have always been, a sounding ear, and we've always been happy to give advice. And, obviously I don't know everyone's situation, and you could be like, well, you sound ridiculous. Like, my electric's gonna get turned off, or I have no clients. But you know what? Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. And, I always think of like my vision board that I have in my mind, and especially now, because obviously things have definitely changed. And I'm like, I see where I will be, because I always like speak that over my life, my kids' life. Like, I always am speaking things over, like, no, because I think there's so much power in the tongue. And so I'm like, I know exactly where I'm going, and I know it's not going to be easy, but it's up to me to get there. And I know I can do it, and I know you can do it, but just know it's not gonna come easy. Unless you have, family that won the lottery, or you're a silver spoon baby, this is not gonna be easy. And growing and getting to different levels in your life, it's gonna take hard work. You're gonna cry, you're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna second guess yourself, but at the end of the day, where do you wanna go? Where do you wanna be? Because we all start somewhere. And I'm starting over. I'm gonna be 42. I'm basically starting over. And so I'm right there with you. I feel for you guys. I'm looking at the industry as you guys are as well, but I don't think it's dying. And I just think we all need to show up every day. You keep grinding it out. You keep doing it, doing your thing. If you don't have a vision board, I encourage you to get one, make one on Pinterest or whatever. We all have the capability to do it. And so I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching. I am so happy to be here. I can't wait until my husband is here. He has so much to talk about, and he's so excited, and he's had so much time on his hands. I can't even begin to tell you what is in store for just this industry, for our lives personally, and I'm really just grateful for you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, and every single week I'm going to be dropping a podcast. And I also want to say we have ambassadors now. I'm so appreciative of you guys. We handpick them. I handpick them, and we just want to make it small and quaint. And so I just want to shout out our ambassadors, because I just can't wait to grow together. And so we will see you guys on the next episode.